We have the New Orleans Saints versus the Denver Broncos, both teams coming off of wins. Let me just get you with the fantasy stuff right now. Taysom Hill, I think he's a startable quarterback. I think he's a slam dunk at tight end if you play in ESPN, for crying out
If
loud.
that lasts for another week, if they're smart,
Golly.
they'll revoke that.
It's ESPN. I bet you all that software coding is done. I bet they won't do it. I think whatever. It's so cheap. I actually am a commission in my league. I tried to pick him up just so that nobody could start him at tight end and screw with it. Thankfully, the guy who's in last place in the league, he's not going to make the playoffs anyway. He can still do some damage to the seeding of the playoffs and maybe play spoiler, but at least he's not going to torque up the playoffs. It's
I'm gonna
ridiculous.
bet I'm gonna bet on them revoking it because I saw some stuff on Twitter when they announced it that he was tight end eligible for this week. I saw it was either Mike Clay or Matthew Berry who said we reserve the right to revoke this in the future. So I don't
Yeah,
see how they would not revoke it when he played the entire game at quarterback and
it's ridiculous.
none at tight end. It doesn't make sense that he was tight end eligible in the first place
Mm.
because you look at his snap counts from last year. He lined up as a wide receiver almost twice as often as a tight end. Why was he not given wide receiver eligibility instead? Like,
Yeah.
it was just a terrible move from the start. I fully expect them to revoke it this week.
Yeah, yeah, and if I'm a league commissioner, I completely respect a commissioner's role just to tell whoever owns Taysom Hill that you can't start him at tight end. It's just I mean it's stupid. It's stupid. But let's just move on with the projections.
I'm going
Kamar,
to disagree on that, though, because I'm firmly in the camp that the rules that start the season are the rules that end the season. And
yeah,
you don't
usually
do mid-season rule changes based on how you feel, based on how the majority feels, because it opens up
a can of
for
worms.
future it opens up a can of worms, and you don't want to get into the habit of making mid-season rule changes even if they make sense. He was tight end
Yeah,
eligible to start the year. He's tight end eligible as long as the platform allows it. If you picked him up last week as a tight end, you shouldn't be punished, because you made the right move.
yeah. All right, fair enough. Fair point. Fair point. Kamara's a start. Let's see. Mike Thomas is a start. I stay away from everybody else just because I think there's too much consolidation. I think that they have a nice game, but just too much consolidation. Denver, I actually like Drew Lock this week. Especially in the fourth quarter because that's usually his best quarter. Melvin Gordon gave us the Melvin Gordon special where he fumbles on the goal line. That's his favorite play. Melvin Gordon, it doesn't matter what he does. The one thing you can count on from fantasy point of view is he's going to fumble on the goal line. As speaking to somebody who's had him for like 5 or 6 years, he's going to get there. He's going to get hit at the line of scrimmage, and he's going to roll around, and he's just going to hold the ball like this. He's going to hold the nose of the ball like this and try to put it over the goal line. Freaking fumbler. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah. Sorry, I got myself sidetracked. Tim Patrick's a start. I actually like Noah Fant as a start as well this week. Take it away.
You know, I don't really care about any Denver Broncos, to be honest. The
Yeah.
running backs have been such a headache. But I do think you named the one guy who's worth caring about. And again, Jerry Jeudy a little bit too. Tim Patrick, guys. He missed the game, but look at the games he's played since Cortland Sutton's been out. 4 for 43 a touch. 6 for 113 a touch. 4 for 101. 3 for 44. 4 for 29 a touch. 4 for 61. 5 for 119. I'm going to read those fantasy points. 14, 25, 16, 7, 12, 10, 18. That's a fantasy starter. And he ain't owned in hardly any leagues. He's not sexy. I'll give you that. And you're not going to ever feel good plugging Tim Patrick into your starting lineup. But deeper leagues, he's got utility.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let me hit you with the line here, man. We got New Orleans -6 versus Denver.
I'm taking New Orleans. I mean, they played well against Atlanta. Taysom Hill's doing enough. I am worried that he could turn the ball over as a passer, and that
Yeah.
at some point we're gonna get maybe something we're not expecting from a Taysom Hill offense. But right now, they're doing enough. They're playing well enough, and Hill's not turning the ball over. So I'm gonna take it at New Orleans.
Look, I think Denver is underrated. I think they'll have a nice game plan. The reason I'm going to take New Orleans as well is when Brees is out of the lineup, the defense that has talent everywhere wakes up, and they play up to their potential. I think the defense is going to take it on their shoulders and put together a really nice game. I do. So I think that the Saints will prevail against the spread and in the game for that matter. Last game for us to touch on before waivers, David. We got